All right, it's official. We are on the ice. This is the new season, 2024-2025. This isn't an old video I saved from last year. I actually found some ice, and we are not in Canada. It's been a really weird year. It seems like even up in Canada, it's just been slow to get those cold freezing temperatures to freeze things over. There's a little bit of activity happening right now across the whole ice belt, Midwest, up into Canada, where we're finally starting to get some colder temperatures, and we're out on the ice right now as a result, which I am super jacked about. I'm a little ways from home. We're probably not going to have fishable ice for at least a couple weeks back home. So I did a little traveling, and this video, hopefully we're going to catch some fish. And also, of course, I'm going to share some tips like I always try to do in every video. So yeah, that's about it. I'm going to quit blabbering and start jigging. And also, you'll notice I didn't film the whole walking out process. I was driving today, had to cover some ground, and just got here early enough to set up. Basically, it was just a little bit brighter. It's just starting to get dark now. I've been set up for 5-10 minutes, but we're set out here. We are on safe ice, and yeah, we probably have maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to fish before I got to pack things up and head back in. But hopefully we can catch some fish and make a little video out of it for you. All right, so one thing you're probably going to notice right away is just the fact that we're not too far from shore. So I guess the first tip I'll share with you here is it's not always about being on the very, very best spot in first ice. A lot of times it's mostly just about finding safe ice and just getting out on the water. Oftentimes, the fish are going to be pretty active this time of year, and the most important thing is just getting on the ice and taking advantage of the fact that the water is still very oxygenated, and in theory the bite should be pretty decent, especially for walleyes on first ice. So right now I'm just off ashore here out on this big flat. If you look on the live scope, it's only 6.5 feet of water. So ultimately we're not too far from shore, but I think we're far enough out that we will get some action, hopefully. There's one right there. Got to give him a little space in the shallow water. There we go. Ooh. All right. First walleye of the season. Just like that. Ooh. Angry little guy. Look at him. He's not that big. He's actually like the perfect eater size. Like 15, 16 inches or so. Glass buckshot eater. Right as the light's getting low here. Just barely had a little moment to sneak out and get on some ice this evening before it got dark here, but did a lot of driving to find first ice. And just like that, we're officially on the board for the 2024-2025 ice season. All right, so my weapon of choice here is just a 1/4 ounce glass buckshot. I don't have anything special, as far as strategy behind it, other than the fact that it is a nice loud bait with that glass rattle. I actually have more of a natural color on there. This is, I believe they call it perch. And not a lot of strategy behind that other than the fact that it was the spoon that was already tied on when I was on my way here. I had heard that there was some ice starting to form in this area that I'm fishing here, so I just grabbed all my stuff and threw it in the back of my truck and drove over here, got over here as fast as I could. So some of those things I won't change, but something natural like that is just going to have it's going to be really effective no matter where you go. And it doesn't even matter if it's dark, dingy water like this. Obviously I'm I may benefit from having some sort of glow. But as you can see, that fish was able to find it and bite it. So, you know, if I had a longer window, I'd probably dig through my box, pick out, you know, some different colors. But at this point, I'm just out here, you know, trying to capitalize on the fact that there is ice. So sometimes you don't have to be exactly perfect to have success. And first ice is definitely one of those times. You just got to get out there. You know, I will say one thing that was kind of interesting last year. Last year, I would say, well, obviously the ice conditions were really tough for a lot of people just based on the fact, you know, down in the metro in Minnesota, a lot of people didn't even have access to ice, you know, half the time. There was, you know, the lakes would freeze and then they would melt. But if you were far enough north where you were able to keep your ice and didn't lose it every couple weeks, it was a great season just because the lakes were just constantly being reoxygenated by rain, or we'd get some snow and then the snow would melt 2 days later. So we were constantly just getting fresh water into these lakes and reoxygenating them. And it was one of those deals where the bite actually stayed really good all season, like basically on par with first ice as far as just the overall activity of the fish. So I'm actually hoping that doesn't happen this year. So that's going to mean, you know, tougher bites, of course, as we get into midwinter, like February and stuff like that. But with that in mind, you know, obviously a normal winter would mean, you know, folks all over would have consistent fishing opportunities. But yeah, last year was crazy. I mean, we didn't even, around us, there was never actually any like truck conditions where you could actually drive your trucks out on the ice. It's a really good year to have a four-wheeler. But for everybody else, you know, actually snowmobile can work too as long as you're managing your ski, your high facts, your slides, you know, making sure they're lubricated. But really good year to have a four-wheeler last year. Hopefully this will be a really good year to have a big truck that you can drive around on the ice. Oh, there's one. Come on, buddy. Come on. Come on. Right here. Right here. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, there we go. Oh, he's not big. He's not big. Smaller than the last one. But we are catching walleyes. Boys and girls, this thing is really happening. Just a little guy. I mean, it's, you know, not much wider than my glove here. Probably not worth too much of a beauty shot. But yeah, little guy. He came in and crunched it though. But you can just tell, I mean, if you saw that on the live scope, I'm assuming my live scope recording is working. If you saw that on the live scope, you saw, you know, what that mark looked like. You can only imagine in 6 feet of water what it is going to look like when it's like a big 25-incher or something like that, like a really big walleye. That's actually, so that's fish number 2 for this active jigging setup. I just got that glass buckshot, like I mentioned earlier. And then if you look out at 16 feet of water, you'll see, you know, a bigger mark over there. And that is my dead stick. I got like a good sized sucker minnow that I picked up, and the thing's just kicking around down there. I got it on the drop shot rig. Maybe something big will come and grab that dead stick. Sometimes you'll see that, you know, where you'll get some of the active fish jigging. You know, they might be smaller, moderate size, and then sometimes the big one will go for that dead stick. You just never know. Or it might just be one of those nights where all the fish go on the active jigging rod. But either way, I'm jacked, literally grinning ear to ear, because we are on ice and we've already got 2 walleyes under our belt, even if they're not giants. All right, it's been a little bit of a window here without getting any bites, or seeing any fish, I should say. So I'm gonna change strategies just a little bit. I'm gonna put down the rattle bait. So rattle baits, nice and loud. They move a bunch of water. It's dark out, obviously, right now. So we're going to do what we can to try and maybe attract a fish to the hole. And if we don't see anything soon, then we're going to take off and get some dinner so we can wake up early in the morning tomorrow and look for some more good ice. So there's obviously a little bit of action going on here. You know, we're going to be adventuring around a little bit, trying to see what we can find. But yeah, sometimes the best thing you can do, especially when it's dark, is, or if you're fishing just in dingier waters, use a rattle bait to try and draw a fish in. Sometimes you'll pull a fish to the hole and it'll smack the rattle bait. Other times you'll pull a fish into the area and then it'll go find your dead stick. So it's usually a win-win, but it's also kind of like a last ditch effort, Hail Mary option as well. When it comes to walleye fishing like this, you know, super dark night. It's not only is it night, it's also cloudy, so it's like pitch black. We should definitely get off the ice here. Luckily actually the ice conditions were fairly decent, so I feel comfortable where I'm at right here. But we got to get off the ice real soon because it's real dark. And yeah, I'm excited to shoot another video tomorrow in the daytime. We'll talk a little bit more about, you know, ice safety, stuff like that. This was just too dark. It's hard to demonstrate things, show things, talk. We got here just kind of last minute, but to plunk a couple walleyes, you know, if we don't catch any more here, you know, a couple walleyes is a pretty good run as far as, you know, just getting out for a little bit for the very first time. So super excited about that, but I'm going to jig this thing a little bit here, maybe give it 10-15 minutes and see if anything rolls through before we pack it in and get some dinner. All right, the rattle bait was ineffective as my last ditch effort. Did not see any other fish, nothing came up to the dead stick, but I'm just jacked to be out on the ice, not gonna lie. It's getting really cold outside. Maybe part of that is the wind. But you know, part of it is definitely the temperature drop, and I think it's supposed to get down to 10 or something tonight. So we should be making quite a bit of ice here the next few days for places where it is capped over. If I came back here tomorrow, I would expect there to be, you know, at least another good solid inch of ice underneath here. So things are moving in the right direction. Already got a couple walleyes under my belt this ice season, which is always nice to knock off the rust a little bit. And yeah, I'm jacked. I'm going to dig through my tackle box, get things a little more dialed in. I'm going to get everything broken down just into one little tackle tray so I can pack a little bit lighter here tomorrow. I'm going to run around and look at some stuff and see if I can catch some more fish, so stay tuned for more videos. Either way, ice fishing is here, and it's going to be a really good season. I don't know why, I just got good vibes on us just getting quite a bit of ice this year versus last year, which was kind of a nightmare for a lot of folks trying to ice fish. So it's going to be a great ice season, and if you want to, you can pull up this clip in, you know, the middle of January when we go back into El Nino, but hopefully we don't. So anyway, that's all I got for you. See you in the next video, hopefully coming out soon, depending on when I can edit it. But I'm going fishing tomorrow.